All right, I will call the January 21st regular meeting to order at 1:01 p.m. And we'll start with roll call.
John Crawford.
Scott Fisher.
Bruce Ansel.
Jason Vanderbeem.
And let the record note that Commissioner McMurray has a family medical issue and is excused from the meeting, and Commissioner Bosman is out of town, I think, on a chaplain detail.
Yes.
And is excused from the meeting. So we have 3 commissioners present for a quorum. And we will open the Volunteer Pension Board meeting. The first item of business is the approval of the December 17th minute. Our motion to approve those minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Invoice voucher, Chief.
So before you today is an invoice voucher for $1,890 for the pension and disability payment for our volunteers for 2021.
Okay, there's actually 2 vouchers, right? One's a, do we have a physical volunteer?
Oh, sorry. Yes. This first voucher should be a $100 for a physical reimbursement, medical physical reimbursement for one volunteer.
Okay, so 2 separate vouchers. I'll move to approve the volunteer physical invoice voucher for $100.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Second voucher, Chief.
That is the payment of $1,890 for pension and disability for the volunteers to the Board of Volunteer Firefighters for 2021.
All right, so that's something that we pay
Annually.
It's not a payment to someone. It's to the pension board.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the pension and disability 2021 voucher for $1,800?
So moved.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Any other business before the pension board? None, then I will move to adjourn the pension board meeting.
Move or second. Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Regular Board of Commissioner meeting, it's 1:04 p.m. We'll open that meeting, and the first item of business is the approval of the consent agenda. And that includes the meeting minutes from December 10th, the budget study session, the public hearing for the budget, and regular meeting of December 18th, staff reports, financial reports, and voucher, payroll, and benefits. Did not get a revenue from the county for December. Do we know why, Chief?
They're just at the end of the year wrapping up. So that I'm told that's a normal thing you should get. We'll get it in February.
Very good. So our total expenditures for January were $861,332.64. Of that, direct deposit payroll was $379,080.82. Payroll taxes, $84,764.81. Benefits voucher, $222,507.22. Monthly expenditure voucher, $174,979.79. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports. Any meeting reports?
Yeah, I had a meeting, commissioner meeting back on the 13th, all county. I have a meeting next week on the 911 board, and basically the commissioner meeting was discussion about what we're gonna do 911 wise. So there are a few county council people that have brought the idea of joining both the Whatcom and Prospect back together again in a building. So we're gonna sit down and discuss that, and I will bring that back to the commissioners and let them know what's going on.
And it's my understanding the commissioners are opposed to joining the two, correct?
I have 11 fire districts, 2 cities that are very opposed at this point. There has been, let me make this clear, fire separated in 1999 from the Whatcom 911 center because of various problems that the fire department was having across the board communication wise. That's why they split and became their own little entity of Prospect. Right now, it's been brought up twice since 2015 to join both police and fire back in the same building and have it run by the city as a 911. And we would have to cross-train dispatchers, and the fire department feels that they would be getting the short end of the stick again if this goes back to the city being city run by the police department as a 911 center.
So is there an opportunity to prevail in our wishes? Or is this something that's driven totally by the county?
It's driven by a county councilman that wants to look at the prospect of joining back together again. This seems to be a notorious whenever county council or city council or county leaders and leaders change. This seems to be a topic that gets brought back up time after time. There's 2 surveys out now that have been put out through different vendors since 2015 that show no benefit in joining and no benefit in not joining. So again, we have this discussion of, is there a possibility of doing this?
Financially, is it driven by a potential thought to save costs?
Financially, that it might, but there was no, after these surveys were completed, no benefits to that either. If you go down and look at the 911 center on Alabama Street, it's city owned, it's not maintained really well, and it's starting to fall apart. We don't know where they would start as far as if we join forces of where the building would be put, how it would be run. There's no plan whatsoever. So we're still in the stages of talking.
All right. Thanks for following that. Anything else?
Well, that was the gist of that meeting.
I guess we had the RFA meeting, right? Which all of us here were at anyway. So kind of moving forward, I think waiting for the financial piece, correct, Chief?
Yes, and communications is starting to come together.
And are we going to have a committee meeting on the Base Plus thing, or?
We are. I was kind of waiting to see what your travel plans were because I was
Gotcha.
scheduled for next week, and I wasn't sure what your
No,
availability or ability to concentrate would be as you were heading back north. So
I mean, I can be available by phone, and like I said before, I don't know that there's anything we're reinventing here. We can probably open up the SDI report and just read it and we'll have everything we need there. So, um, all right. Very good. Anything else? Local 106 report. I didn't get anything from the local.
I didn't get anything from them.
Mr. Davis, welcome.
Hey,
Good to see you. It's been a while.
yeah, nice to see you. I understand there will be some questions later on about public works and so forth, and I don't have anything independent of that to talk about, so I'll just wait for that part of the agenda.
All right. I see that Commissioner Crawford forwarded another never-ending meeting notice from the state.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
It's, you can have an in-person component, but you still have to have this Zoom component to your meeting, and that'll end at this point when the emergency declaration.
All right. Hang on here. I seem to have canceled out my super duper agenda. Hang on. Sorry about that. Outsmarted myself. I made it smaller and I closed it out. All right. Unfinished business. I guess I already talked about that, didn't I? Regional Fire Authority Planning Committee, waiting on financial report and the subcommittee. Anything else, Chief?
No, sir. No, just I've engaged with Heather Logan. She and I and Karen Reed are going to have kind of a communications kickoff meeting tomorrow, and so look for an email about what the baseline, what the base plan is for getting the word out to the public and engaging them.
Are we getting any questions at all through the newsletter about information that's being posted there?
We have, District 21 has not. District 4 apparently has had one, and it was followed up on, not by myself, but by someone in District 4. And so can't speak to it sounds like that ended well. It was just a query about, basically will taxes go up, and if so, how much? So it was, that plan is still in the works. We have not really received anything directly here at District 21 about RFA plans or planning. I would say Kathy Berg has been the one person that's been most engaged and has asked the most questions, and she and I have talked on several occasions.
All right, thank you. Personnel recruitment. We've got a few items under this topic.
Okay.
So I've noticed you sent out, we've had our 1 year people that have passed their probation, and then we have a batch of 4 new personnel that one has had the North Bend Academy and 3 are heading that direction.
Yes, sir. Yep, they'll be heading. Three of the people that have not had the academy will be heading off next week to North Bend. The 4th individual will be joining the shift as a 4th, and we'll be going through some on-the-job training. The crew he's assigned to as the company officer that went up last time as a North Bend company officer. So he knows, the senior firefighter knows what the new guy's been through, and we'll put him through his paces and get him on the floor sooner rather than later, once they're both comfortable, or once everybody's comfortable with his performance. So yeah, it's been an exciting time. It was fun to watch those probationers going off, go out and do their thing, do their final assessments. They did great. They were, like I said in my email, they were judged by their peers or evaluated by their peers, and it was a good, for an odd year, it was a good end. So having come into the fire service, in the same year COVID struck, I'm sure it was a year full of changes for them, more than normal. So as well, we have posted for, and I didn't know, sir, maybe you want to talk about this later, but we've also posted for testing for lieutenant, shift captain, and training captain as well. Per the contract, there's a 90-day posting, so that we posted it on January 4th. Yeah, January 4th. And we're providing some training, some company officer preparation training in between now and the date of the test. The test will go, and then we will run the assessment for all three of those positions simultaneously on the same day, and then do interviews on separate days for the separate positions. It was announced by one of our senior captains, Ray Davidson, that he has moved his retirement up. His last shift will be June 29th of this year. So we were expecting him. He was anticipated to retire in 18 months, and he lopped 12 months off of it. So a little sooner than planned, but that's okay. We'll have a list, and the goal in talking to the union, the goal is to have a constant list always, so that we're not, in the past we've tested reactionary, and we're trying to end that, where we have people in the hopper, and we've got acting lieutenants, and giving people a chance to grow and progress in their careers. So all three of those, like I said, those three processes are running simultaneously. In addition, you charged me with finding a permanent assistant chief, and the review of the job description and the putting together of the advertisement has started. We've taken a look at what some other districts have done, and what Prothman does, and reviewed a bit of our own internal processes in the past, and figured out how we want to tweak it. So I'll have a better report for you, if not a posting by next commission meeting.
Okay. The assessment portion of the officer promotional, is that going to be done in-house, or are we bringing in outside, or how's that?
No, that'll be done in-house. We've run those before, even with me in charge, or in the loop at least. So we've got experience doing that, and we'll, as many of you know, we'll call in favors. We've put people into other people's assessment centers, so we'll call in favors from other departments. And again, it'll be a little bit different with COVID, but we'll see how it goes. We had not planned to go with an outside, with a contractor to run that process. We've done it before and been successful.
But we'll be bringing in outside evaluators from surrounding departments.
What we do is we have, so the assessment centers, or the topics, are actually hammered out in the contract. So they generally know what they're going to be, and then we rewrite the script, and have we will have one commissioned officer from North Whatcom on each assessment, so that the internal workings are known, but we also get outside evaluators on every single candidate, on every single assessment.
Great. And last but not least, our facilities issues.
So we, Chief Ward and I, actually Chief Ward, I'm going to clarify that. Chief Ward spent an abundance of time writing up. We went on the internet and found requests for proposals for those kind of things. Chief Ward put a lot of effort into it. We sent it off to Richard Davis, and I'll let him fill in the rest of where we're at from there. Sean and I learned some things. So
yeah, but you learn don't call your attorney, because he'll.
Well, maybe we need to call him first instead of spending hours.
Oh, okay, very good.
Chief, did you forward my email on to the commission? I just want to know kind of where we.
I didn't. No.
So there was an interest, I think, in kind of hiring a contractor on sort of an on-call basis to come out and do minor work. Some of the work that the chief mentioned needs to be done qualifies as public work, and some of it qualifies as personal services. And there's a big difference between the two. Public work is something that really kind of an improvement to real property. That's not how the statute defines it, but think of it that way. So if you're going to be assembling furniture or putting workstations together, that kind of thing, that's not a public work. It's just a personal service. And you can contract for those all day long. Without going through any kind of process whatsoever. But when it comes to mending fences, fixing the roof, painting, drywall, all that kind of stuff, that's all public works. So a fire district has the ability to enter into public works contracts up to $30,000 without going through any kind of competitive process. After $30,000, you've got, under $30,000, you can. There's different, you can do a full competitive bid, sealed bid process. You can do something less formal, but you're not required to. Once you get to the $30,000 threshold, then you got to start doing various, you're required to do various types of competitive bidding. The concept that I think the chief was hoping to pursue is called on-call or a unit price contract, time and materials, goes by different names. And that is, we agree upon an hourly price for work, and then as work comes available, we give this person a call and they do the work. It's a public works contract, which means that three things. You got to pay prevailing wage, you got to have a payment performance bond, and what's the other one? Retainage. So with an on-call contract, determining what the payment performance bond is a little challenging. You're supposed to have a payment performance bond for the entire amount of the contract. That's what the statute says. But beyond that, fire districts don't have any statutory authority to enter into an on-call contract. Now, I know that there are advisors out there, and MRSC is one of them, who said, well, we have with certain cases said that some agencies may enter into these on-call contracts when the dollar amount is within their authority to not, not go for a formal competitive bid. So for instance, with fire districts, you are required to bid anything below $30,000. Their advice seems to suggest that, well, maybe a fire district could do this. I don't really agree with that for a couple of reasons. Number one, there are a number of agencies that expressly have the right to do an on-call contract. Fire districts are not one of them. Secondly, it is the idea of how the contract is drafted is a little bit different question from whether or not you have to bid it. And then finally, I've had the auditor say before to me, well, fire district personnel can't do public works jobs. They can't do any of the drywall and blah, 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 because there's nothing in the statute that allows that. Like cities and poor districts, they all have day labor provisions. So under that same argument, you would say, well, a fire district can't do an on-call contract because unlike a poor district or city, they don't have anything in their statute. So I know because I'm getting a lot of calls this year from different fire districts that have gotten audit fine. I don't think anything's really simply audit finding. There's a potential for one, but audit management letters and criticism in the purchasing and public works context, primarily with sole source and name brand specifications, but there's also kind of a focus on public works. So I think the conservative approach is to say, let's not use on-call contracts until the legislature gets around to expressly allowing it. If you wanted to take a little bit more aggressive approach because of the ease of it, you have one contract and then you just call the contractor every time. If you wanted to do that, what I would suggest is we have a policy that says how we're going to do it, how we're going to select the contractor initially through some kind of competitive process, and put a dollar threshold on it. In other words, I think I could reduce your risk, but I don't know what the auditor has not taken a formal position on this, so I don't know if you'll get criticized or not if you did that. You could call the local auditor and see if they have a perspective, but their official manual on this stuff doesn't talk about it. Doesn't say fire districts can do it. So the better approach is to hire a contractor on a case-by-case basis when work comes up, and you can call to different contractors and get pricing, or you could, if you have a relationship with the contractor, you could call that one back if they've done a good job for you in the past. But every time you're supposed to have retainage. They have to pay prevailing wage. Retainage has to be withheld, and the performance bond. Now you can waive the performance bond, and it's fine to do so if you're going to be paying. If it's just a very small contract, they're going to issue one invoice. They're going to do the work. It's a 2 or 3 day job. Issue one invoice. It's less of a concern to have a performance bond. That can be waived by the district. What can't be waived are retainage requirements and prevailing wage. So with that, I mean, my view would be the safest approach would be hire a contract for work that is needed when it comes due. If you really wanted to use the on-call approach, then I would recommend a policy that details exactly when you're going to use it and put some parameters on there. And as I said, it's an open question. I don't know what your local auditor would say about it, but I think I can assist you if you wanted to go that direction.
So if we decided to work on one particular station and set a threshold of $25,000 for combined work, do we have to go to bid?
No.
So if we wanted some painting done, some door repaired, whatever, and we predict it's going to be under $30,000, we can hire anybody.
Right. You can go through some kind of informal process of, putting down on a sheet of paper what your scope is and sending it out to a few contractors and asking what they would bid on it. You could do that if you wanted to, or you could just hire a contractor that you know to be capable of performing the work, and then you just to hire.
So would we then get into trouble if now let's just go station by station? We're at 61 and we've got our laundry list under 30,000, and then we go to 63s and we've got our laundry list of next, and sort of do them sequentially. Will the auditor say, oh no, that was $120,000 total and you have to have gone out competitive bid on it?
Yeah, so if you've got a bunch of public works projects in the queue, let's say all of what you want to do and it involves different stations, you could phase that and put it under one contract. And if the total was over 30,000, my recommendation would be to go out to bid on it, because the auditor is going to say, just what you said, Commissioner Ansel, is that, well, you knew you were going to do this stuff. You're just trying to avoid the public works threshold.
Right. So for instance, if we had a bunch of painting, we should just lump all that in, go out for bid and have them do all the painting at one time. Or
you can, if you don't want to do it all at one time because operationally it doesn't make sense, you could phase it. You could say first phase is station whatever, and do that, and then but you have a price, right? There's a price up front for that work, and you could always do change orders if you change your mind and want to do a little bit more, a little bit less work. All right. I sent the chief a couple of forms too, because my recommendation is that get used to your own form, and you can administer these contracts a lot easier. Because otherwise, everybody's got their own forms, right? And a lot of what you get from contractors don't include these necessary provisions, and the auditor will be on you if you don't require prevailing wage or you don't require retainage. So our form has all of that stuff in there, and it's not a complicated form. It's simple. I'm not trying to scare anybody off, but it allows the chief and his staff to easily administer construction projects as they arise.
All right. Chiefs, does that make sense?
It does, and actually this led to Richard and I had a conversation earlier about we're going to have him go through our purchasing policy because it also discusses things like bid thresholds and sole source and some other things. So we're just going to have him. It was last updated in 2016. It's been 5 years. It's time for it to be gone through again. So just this has uncovered other things that we need to look at. So it's but yes, we understand how to do this now, and we've got our marching orders. So off to the races.
Well, thanks for finding out the information before we moved forward and got dinged afterwards.
Right.
We've probably learned that lesson a little bit here.
I'm getting there.
It's all right. Okay, so what's your thought then, Chief, as far as taking care of our facilities?
Well, I think doing what you asked me to do the first time, which would be now we know we can find a contractor and a trusted person and have them go do an assessment of our stations and give us a bid. And if it's over 28,000, we'll say 20% below $30,000, then we'll get two more to do it, and we'll do an actual competitive bid process. And I think what Mr. Davis said, which is doing it in phases, is what we'll do. But it's coming up here. We know that trying to split things up, big items up to make them look like they're smaller items doesn't work. So we'll just be transparent from the beginning. And if, like I said, if that first contractor says it's going to be close to 30, then we'll just do a formal process, a formal phased process.
Yeah, my gut says we're going to be over 30.
Yep. At prevailing wage, yes. Yeah, I think we will.
You can still use a fairly informal process by using a small works roster. And Chief, I don't know, are you a member of like the MRSC small works roster?
We are not. We do have one here in the county that we can join.
Okay.
And that's something that I think is going to be money well spent to join that group.
Scott, did you have a comment or no? Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to better weather up there and getting some work done.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? Questions from Scott or John?
No, I'm good.
I'm
All right.
good.
Anything else unfinished business? Mr. Davis, I don't know. Oh yeah, you're gonna probably weigh in on the District 4 Bellingham issue or not?
No, I've had a little talk with Mr. Davis, and I'm going to handle the District 4. I'll handle the District 4 piece.
Okay. And I guess before I let you go, Richard, we're going to have an executive session today to discuss the chief's annual review. And if there were some wordsmithing in his labor contract, can I just get in touch with you and get your advice and maybe wordsmithing on some of that?
Sure. Yeah. And were you thinking later on today?
No, it probably is. I need to do both a quarterly and or annual evaluation of the chief, but there's a couple of things that I've been reviewing in other chief contracts that I think I would like to maybe amend with a discussion with you on that. So,
All right.
We can probably talk over the phone at some point. Probably not today, though.
Okay, yeah,
You're planning on going anywhere?
not very, no, not soon enough. Let me put it.
Okay, yeah, I'll get in touch with you after maybe next week or something and just run a couple things by you.
All right, sounds good. I'll sign off then.
Anything else, Chief, that,
No, just thank you, Richard. I appreciate it.
yeah, good to
Right.
see you. Happy New Year.
Bye.
All right. Now, hopefully when he signs off, it doesn't mess with our whole meeting, right? That's happened
Oh,
before.
looks like we're good. I think it's if he tries to sign back in that we're
Okay.
have trouble. So
So we'll move on to new business. The first item is,
Hey, Bruce, before you run off to
Yep.
new business, this is kind of falls under old business, but I got a phone call from somebody in Custer about the train.
yep,
And I know that we were gonna, like last year, write a letter. Did we ever send a letter to BNSF about the delay and things like that, fire-wise?
we never sent a letter. We made contact with them about, is there a way for us to be able to see when delays are coming up? Is there a way for them to tie into CAD or for there to be an active website for us to look at? Although I wasn't particularly fond of the idea of a website where now the company officer's got to flip pages in the MDC to look at. But they're helpful, but only to a certain point as far as implementing something like that. I don't know if for them it's a security issue or if it's just a financial issue of having to implement or create a program that would work so that first responders could see beyond just the lights at the crossing that the crossing is tied up. But no formal letter was ever sent.
No, the commission was supposed to send out a letter,
Okay.
and we were gonna put it out to the public of the delays that we were experiencing from BNSF. This phone call revolves all around the rail car incident that we had. And I was told that we were gonna put a letter out as a commission at some point about the delay of the fire department. Like if somebody on BBL is experiencing a delay to get to, say, Custer School and their house is on fire and why we were delayed. So we were gonna write a letter as the commission. We were gonna put it out to the public as well, letting them know why the fire department was experiencing delays. And I was just wondering, did we ever do that? I know that it was talked about at a commission meeting.
the only thing I recall had to do with the Vacus X-ray thing, and I thought I had heard that they're moving that or the process of moving that further south. Is that,
It's the rumor.
pardon me?
That's the rumor,
Right.
but I don't know that to be a fact.
Oh, all right.
Right at Birch Bay Linden Road and Blaine and Portal. And what happens is when the cars are coming in to Custer to be transferred over to BP, they will pull a train right across Birch Bay Linden Road, and it's not uncommon for that to close down Birch Bay Linden Road for 30 minutes, if not more, and while they disconnect trains and rearrange things to where they can shoot them off that spur that goes to BP. And that happens probably, I would say, anywhere between 1 to twice a week. Sometimes it's not a half hour, sometimes it's 5 or 10 minutes, but we all know 5 or 10 minutes on a structure fire is saving or non-saving anymore. So
Okay, so John, what are you thinking here?
Why don't I bring up the minutes from that commission meeting? And we can go back and revisit that issue.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, without doing that, who is this going to go to? The community, and what is the intent?
The person that I was talking to was concerned about the fact that if the train was blocking at another intersection and not being able to get to the incident itself. They were specifically talking about the Custer incident.
Okay, but if what what would our letter say? I mean, what are you wanting it to convey?
Well, I guess the delay in services of why we would not be able to get to certain areas of our district due to the train blocking the tracks.
It doesn't solve any problems. It just notifies them that this could
Right.
happen.
Right.
Okay.
I think what she's trying to get at is maybe we should put the information out prior to something happening so that people in that area know what's going on and why we're experiencing delays to certain parts of the district at certain times of the day. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but it was brought to my attention. And this is not the first time that we've discussed this, so.
Right. I mean, obviously the future long-term goal of having an overpass on Blaine Road was one solution. Moving the X-ray machine was another potential aid, but the spur for the crude oil cars is probably a whole nother topic, right?
Yeah, they're not gonna move that.
And so your thought was if somehow at least the fire side could be notified when they might be doing this, that it might allow us to respond more effectively from the get-go, i.e. 63s is going to run down Birch Bay Linden, and we know that there's a train parked there for the next 10 minutes. They might choose to go another way, and we would know that they were going to do that as if somehow they notified dispatch or whatever that this was going to be happening. And then how often does that happen, and how do we get notified? And Chief, I think you said that becomes somewhat cumbersome.
And we've tried to anticipate ways around that kind of blockage with even aid calls. Really, we've got auto aid agreements with 42, which is on Brown Road, south of Grandview. We've got engine 45 is on most of our structure fire responses in that area. And as far as I know, that fire is what typically people are most concerned about. But even Medic 45 is clear of the tracks. At least we're not all stuck on one side. So we've tried to really layer other types of units or other units from even other districts in, so that we're able to get some coverage. But I understand the public's frustration, and that especially after the December incident, this is probably now it's heightened, right? They're even more concerned than before about what's the plan.
What was blocked during that incident?
Main Street and Custer. Very, very little was blocked. And what would you say, Chief Ward? I would say that once they got that train uncoupled and pulled back to the north, even Main Street and Custer was open. There was no intersections blocked. All apparatus were able to make it from every direction.
What do you want to do, John?
Oh, maybe look at what we were proposing last time and bring it up as new business in the next meeting.
Okay, so Jenny, I know you're listening, correct? And if you could maybe do some research for us and find that one out, it would have been last year.
I think
Well,
it-
year before, actually.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think,
2019.
yeah, I think it was in 2019. Thank you. All right. New business. Board elections. We, on an annual basis per our guidelines, elect a new chair and vice chair in January, and lo and behold, it's January. So I will open nominations for board chair.
Would you like another nomination for the year?
Let's see, who's not here? I remember Mr. Bosman doing this to me while I was gone last time.
Now we got Zoom.
This might be payback. I spoke with Rich about this topic, and he would be willing to take the vice chair position again, but does not want to be chair. So I have no opposition to continuing doing what I'm doing.
I move to nominate you.
All right, so there's a
For chair.
motion to nominate myself for board chair.
Second.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I guess I have to vote to make it official, don't I? All right, it's unanimous. Thank you. I will strive to continue to do a good job for you guys. But appreciate the relationship that I have developed with the chief and the administrative staff and everyone. So that certainly makes our business a lot easier.
A lot of yaps going around the room.
Yips. I promise to come home. All right, so vice chair, like I said, I spoke with Rich Bosman. He's such a valuable asset to us, having been the most tenured commissioner on our board. And I know that, he runs a business and is deeply involved in the chaplain program now. But he had no opposition to being vice chair. So I'm going to nominate Rich Bosman as vice chair.
Second.
Any other nominations? Everyone's taking one step backwards. So Rich has been nominated as vice chair. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right. We will move forward. Chief, our next item is a training agreement with District 4 in the city of Bellingham. I had discussions with Commissioner Hanson about this, how it might impact the RFA in the future. And maybe you can just let us know what this is all about and what it might mean.
Sure. So we all know that District 4, the city of Bellingham has had pretty much unlimited access to the training grounds at District 4 for, not for free, but for exchange of services. The District 4 is not really providing, because of the auto aid agreement between 21 and Bellingham, District 4 is no longer receiving any benefit out of the agreement. It has, those grounds are paid off, and it has been a focus of the District 4 board to try to get some compensation for all people that are using, any group that's using the grounds there at Station 12. So we sent a letter to the city of Bellingham asking them to renegotiate. The city was open to it. And ultimately what has transpired is Bellingham is going to compensate with money District 4 for the use of Building D and the training grounds and a portion of the large meeting room for certain days of the year. There's an agreement that's been, a draft agreement that's been written up between District 4 and City of Bellingham. We're going to tweak it a little bit. I've spoken to Chief Hewitt. He's good with the proposed changes. So I spoke with Mr. Davis today just to make sure that my language was right. And we will be forwarding that back to the City of Bellingham for their approval as far as reimbursement for the training grounds, for Bellingham's use of the training grounds. They have a significant amount of, they send a significant amount of time up there. They are bringing on 24 new hires this year. So they've got 2 recruit academies that they're going to run through there. In addition to that, the district administrator, Chris Parks, and I sat down late last year and went over the facility use policy that they had in place, which was ancient. There had not been an update of those of the cost of renting, the facility rental cost, and Chris had done a lot of research, as well as Anna Malillo, who was one of the commissioners of District 4 prior to last year, had done a significant amount of research on what other places are charging. So we cleaned up the charges. We kind of bundled things as we saw how people would use them in a normal training day, and then also made it still affordable for the Whatcom County Recruit Academy. We wanted to support those kind of things, and updated their, like I said, their facility use and the cost of renting the facility. So all that's kind of been going on in the background. The reason this is brought before you today as an update is that as a sign of good faith, the District 4 board really wants the District 21 board to know what kind of agreements they're entering to. And as we move forward in the RFA, this will become all of our issue. And those grounds at Station 12 will need to be renegotiated with the City of Bellingham. And that is one piece that we're adding into that proposed agreement, is that upon formation of the RFA, that this agreement will need to be relooked at by the new entity.
Big question, Chief. If something up on those grounds, let's say they have like a large crack due to an earthquake, who's going to be responsible for maintaining and taking care of that? That on District 4?
Currently, the way that the arrangement reads between 21 and 4 is that will be negotiated. What's happened in reality is that if something big happens, Bellingham knows they're the big user, and they've stepped up and made repairs. They know they're the ones that are putting the most stress on the grounds. There's been 2 times in the last 6 months where one time they had Public Works come out and take care of it. The second time they ended up calling a contractor and fixing something that really they had probably started the damage on, and it got exacerbated, through other uses. But that's what's been happening. This agreement will memorialize how that gets fixed, how things like that gets fixed, because right now that's really up in the open.
So we would hope that there would be language that if their use causes a certain amount of damage, they would be the ones that would
Correct.
repair it.
Correct. And they've been good partners in this, even when it doesn't rise to that threshold.
Sure.
They're contacting us before we even know about it and telling us this is the date it's going to be repaired on.
So sounds like we have a good relationship currently. Sometimes those don't last. So having it in writing
Right. Right.
is
Which is why the new agreement will memorialize those things.
it's always a benefit when Chief X leaves and Chief Y comes in. So, or city council person or whatever.
Yep.
Perfect. And I just want to share with the board here that District 4's chair, Dave Hansen, called me personally to talk about this, to be totally transparent and collaborative, and wanting to make sure that we were okay with what was happening here because of our relationship in forming the RFA. So, one of the concerns I did express was, well, once the RFA is formed, we're probably obligated as a board to renegotiate all of our major contracts as a new entity. And so I think that was added in based on those discussions. So I appreciate the fact that he wanted to involve us in this discussion, because basically it's a contract between District 4 and Bellingham, and he didn't necessarily have to do that. So it bodes well for a good working relationship towards forming RFA as well. So next item is the fire chief's quarterly review, and basically that also rolls into an annual review, if I'm not mistaken here, Chief.
I think actually this will be my third quarterly review. So I want to say I'm up in April.
All right. Well, I going to ask for an executive session just to get feedback on that item and discuss a couple of other issues in your contract, which I'll certainly have that discussion with you as well before we do anything. And it's nothing egregious. I just think as we grow and look at the RFA process and contemplate hiring an assistant chief, it's time to make sure that all our other contracts are in line and up to date. So it's just some housekeeping is what it is.
I'm not worried.
Good. All right, correspondence was in our packet. And then our next meeting is the 18th, which I'm sure it will be on Zoom. How's everybody for the 18th?
Fine.
I'm hoping to be home by then, for what it's worth. Missing all of that wonderful weather you guys are having.
Well, we're supposed to have it later on this week.
Oh, good, good. I know, I'm trying to figure out the best route home, and it just doesn't look good anywhere, so. Okay, agenda items for next meeting. Still sitting on the fire marshal interlocal agreement. You talked about having Lieutenant Nelson.
Nielsen. Yep. Now that
Sorry.
he's been, yeah, we'll have him attend and give his thoughts on the interlocal agreement and some adjustments that may need to be made.
Okay. And he's officially the lead guy right now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Henry is sitting in the back seat.
I think Henry's at home sitting in his chair. So
So he's done, or is he still?
well, he's still on call.
Okay.
So
All right.
for bigger items, but Lieutenant Nielsen is doing a great job and keep him busy.
So being down here, I missed the great big windstorm and all that stuff. Did Did any of those Blaine outdoor tents fly away in that last windstorm, or were they?
I didn't hear about anything. We didn't have any calls regarding that. So
Good. Good. All right. The audit, we should be getting a report next week,
yes.
correct? And we can report on that next meeting.
Yep.
And then if we would add the question that Commissioner Crawford brought up about the letter on the trains. Anything else for next meeting?
I have a good of the order item before.
Okay. And I guess we can continue the Regional Fire Authority Planning Committee report, Jenny. And I don't know if we're going to have any other updates on the facilities or assistant chief process or not.
Yeah, let's put the assistant chief. Both, you can put both those on there. It will be
Okay.
good to touch base on those again.
Okay. All right. So before we go to executive session, oh yeah, go to the order.
We are going to be here in the next several weeks. I don't know if it'll be before the next commissioners meeting. We'll be doing our annual diversity and harassment training, and we're going to add the commissioners to that, as you are considered employees of the district in some fashion. So you will be getting an email from a company called Kentola. It starts with a K, and it's a simple 40-minute video. It's interactive. You can't turn it on and let it run. You gotta do a little bit of work. But yeah, just wanted to make the commissioners aware that they will.
Is there a test at the end?
There's a test at multiple points throughout the process.
Do we get gold stars?
I can arrange for you to have a gold star, Commissioner Crawford, if that's what you like.
If you,
I'll get Chief Ward to come deliver it to you personally, if you pass.
thank you. So that's coming out when?
Should be the next few weeks. We'll get that rolled out.
Okay.
Next couple, 3 weeks.
All right.
You'll have time. We won't make your. We'll give you long enough to finish it.
Yeah.
The only one that really needs it, Scott.
Thank you very much, John.
So, okay, I'm going to go for one more good of the order since it's not on our agenda either. The train incident, you kind of gave us a little Reader's Digest version in your chief's report. And I have to say it's probably could be one of the bigger calls in someone's career to roll into a derailed rail car with oil on fire. And from everything I've read and heard, it went very well. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to commend Chief Ward and yourself. I know that Chief Ward was first in, from what I understand, or close to, took command, and got the ball rolling quickly. And I saw overhead pictures. I saw distant pictures. Friends that live in Bellingham were sending me pictures via text and stuff. So, I mean, pretty good loom up there that showed up, and it could have been a huge disaster. And I think with the coordinated response, it sounds like it went really well. And I don't know if we as a department have embraced this sort of celebrating our successes very well. We've talked about it off and on. We don't have the opportunity to get together and have an awards banquet or do anything like that. And I don't know, this one just sits in my mind as something that whether we as a board send a letter of thanks to all those involved or what. I've just kind of throwing that out there, but the two of you right here in front of me, thank you for a wonderful job. And nothing but great reports in the press and the news and everything about how well that incident was handled.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. My hat's off to Chief Ward. He did a great job establishing command. And then also our partners to the south, District 7, that was a great example of our auto aid agreement. And specifically Chief Crosswhite and Chief Iverson got in there really quick and were able to see the incident from a different side than we saw it as during their approach. And so we really had as much as we could get a 360-degree view of the thing before, as decisions were being made. Chief Boyko from District 7 started very quickly on evacuation with the Sheriff's Department. And like you said, it couldn't have gone any better, but a huge part of that goes to Chief Crosswhite, Chief Iverson, and Chief Ward, all three of them having worked together for years. And you're right, I hope that was a once in a career incident. but yeah, those three chiefs they did a lot of work that day, and they did great work, and it showed in the incident, the way the incident rolled out.
All right, so what's your thought on some sort of follow-up?
I can do that. Today actually we just got a letter about 20 minutes prior to the meeting kicking off from Department of Natural Resources, BNSF, and Whatcom County DEM, a thank you letter for just what you're talking about. So that will be in the next board packet, obviously, and we'll distribute that to the crews that were involved. But I think you're right. I think we get involved in the day-to-day and kind of forget about those exceptional moments in our careers or during calls, and certainly some letters of thanks and or commendation are in order in this case.
Yeah, and then of course now we're starting a new year, but we had a very challenging year last year with COVID and the response, and everyone's on the line stepping up and sort of learning a new way of doing business. And I think maybe we as a board need to send a letter off to the troops thanking them for their work last year. And I guess if the rest of the board is okay with that, I can work with Jenny and you in drafting a letter to go out to all personnel for last year, and hopefully we don't have to do it long this year. But sometimes it's nice to say thank you.
And I would concur with that. I think that something that gets lost for fire departments is that, for emergency responders, is that we're on, when we're on, we're being, the troops are being careful. They're wearing all their PPE, they're doing all the right things. But I think we forget that these folks have also spent their entire year keeping themselves safe for the hours they're not on duty.
True.
That's commendable, that they're thinking about their brothers and sisters that they work with, and they're thinking about the public even when they're off, and they're making good choices. And the fact that we didn't have anything explosive COVID-wise happen within the department really is a testament to the professionalism that they are 24/7. And I would add that the admin staff too. I mean,
Right.
We've had tremendous. There's been a lot of administrative work, learning how this whole thing works and how it affects us. And here we've got a new disease that we're going to need to keep records of for years and years and years, and really no direction on how to do it. And I know I say it a lot, but they're knocking it out of the park, just like the guys on the floor are. So.
All right. Well, we'll note it in this meeting, and then if you guys are okay, I'll work with you and Jenny and whoever to get something drafted, and we can have it hopefully ready for the next meeting. Jenny, I'll work with you and put it on our new business or next meeting to review that before we send it out.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else before we move to executive session? Okay, so we can stop the live feed. I don't